Well, hi there, night creatures. If you're watching live, you're at the virtual church of the disillusioned. My name is Jack Willard, a somewhat more subdued Jack that was on with a pop on to pop off live video about maybe 6 hours ago, where we were promoting our Saturday night worldwide ramblings that will happen tonight here in New York, the East Coast at 11 p.m. East Coast time. And that is usually well received. And this is just an experiment because I know that we are seen all over the world. We are seen in places like Cape Town, South Africa, uh, the UK, Ireland, Australia, and let's see, we even have heard from Iceland, places like that. So I don't know if this is just really a pop on in the middle of the night kind of thing. I'm a night person and I'll be getting ready to go to sleep soon. But I used to do a whole lot of late night radio, midnight to 6 a.m. It's a long shift. Then it became 1 a.m. to 6 a.m., I remember. And my years as a peace officer at a homeless men's shelter in Chester, New York, owned by the city of New York. I had the luxury of working for the city, but not having to work in it. And it was a big luxury to work in the much calmer Chester, New York, where I would be for 19 years pretending to be a peace officer. Most of my audience are not all-nighters. I know I have some people who are doing the worldwide ramblings that will come on late towards 1 o'clock, and they will want me to stay on for a while, but we've already done just about 2 hours. So in this video, I said, what's important to you? What do you care about? What are the issues? What are the things? I kind of got, I got into I don't want to call it a trap, but a one subject trap, making me in some ways a one trick pony, talking about the pastor from Benton, Arkansas, a wonderful man, Bob Joyce, who looks and sounds like Elvis Presley. I started talking about it in 2018, and we are still doing it today. It's hard to give up a topic that everybody loves, but I don't want to. I don't want to be a one-trick pony because there are so many important things going on in our world, and maybe in your life. And we actually have a viewer. I'm not used to one viewer, but someone found us. Who are you? Where are you watching from? Welcome. What's important to you in life? That's what we're talking about here. This is just a trial. We'll do our regular Saturday night worldwide ramblings at 11 p.m. tonight. That's East Coast time. But this was just I did a video about the crisis in the Catholic Church. Please check that out. Whether you're a born again Christian, whether you're a non-believer, please keep the comments respectful. Don't want to delete comments. Just want to see if this is a topic that would get some response. As I was saying, when you become known for one subject, it can be two people watching right now. Let us know who you are and where you're from. When you become known for one subject, it can be kind of frustrating because you have to work that in some way to get an audience. You have to work it in, and it can feel cheap doing it. But I try to find some valid information that we haven't covered. Um, Obviously, Elvis programmers, Bob Joyce slash Elvis programmers, or Elvis slash Bob Joyce programmers are notorious for repeating material, and we do some of that like they do. But I am not the guy who puts up endless photos. I don't have the editing skills for that, and I don't use church video except on rare occasions, fair use. So we lost both of them. Just people that popped on. You never know who you're going to find. There are people that can't sleep, that are insomniacs and what have you, and they they are up odd hours. Now it's not really so much of an odd hour in the UK. It's the morning time. It's not an odd hour in California. It's late. It's after 11 o'clock at night, but it's not the middle of the night like it is here in the former great state of New York. The former great state of New York. So I always enjoy when we are doing a live show if people talk about other topics. We do cover politics and people respond that way. I'm not going to pretend to be anything other than a conservative voice, but we don't demean people here. We try not to. There are times when people are so anti-American, so against anything that would in any way reflect on what has always been American values. And we've always been a flawed country that made mistakes. But there are times when there is someone that is such an enemy of truth that the Michael Savage, I don't know how many people know who he is, radio talk show host that now does a simple podcast because he was just too rough after a while for commercial radio. I did a lot of overnight radio, but I was playing the music, the hits, the greatest songs of all time. And I have them all here on Spotify. I'd love to do it for you. I don't know. I don't have video to accompany it, so it would just be me, or I put a cloth over the microphone, or the camera, excuse me, and just let you enjoy the music. So we just popped on here, little experiment to see what's going on. You never know where something like this can go. I wouldn't do it so much on a Tuesday morning, but on the weekend, more people are up and we are heard all over the world. So if you watch this in the replay and you want to talk about what's important to you in the comments section, feel free. This is kind of a different form. 2 people watching again. I got 1 like. Who are you? Where are you watching us from? I don't want to wrap this up in 8 minutes, but it looked like it was going that way. Sometimes we get up to about 77 or so in our Worldwide Ramblings, which airs tonight at 11 o'clock East Coast time. We hear from many different states in the U.S. and many a continent or two and that kind of thing. But feel free to say hello in the chat. What's important to you? Hearts Wild. It doesn't surprise me that it's you, Hearts Wild, because you're someone who comes on late in Worldwide Ramblings because you work. And I think you probably work, I don't know if you're even in the United States. I think you are, but maybe you work 4 to midnight or something like that, and you come home late and you hear us there. It's 2:15 in the morning, 2:13 in the morning. So you're in the same time zone as me. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Sometimes I just forget, it's like for a while I was keeping a tally of the various cities in the U.S. and countries, but I kind of gave up on that. But I do remember when we hear from someone that's in Cape Town, South Africa or something, it's kind of cool. So what's going on, Hearts Wild? What's the story? You are still, I think, working full time, right? Is that right? I lost my kitty today. Oh, geez. One of, doesn't say 20, does it? 2N, it says. You're not saying 20, are you? I lost my kitty today, one of two. Could that be correct? Because if it's 20, you are definitely that crazy cat lady, that we always hear about. Yeah, when I came to live in this building in 2010, there were 7 cats here, and now they've all passed away. But we still buy a considerable amount of cat food because now we're feeding the wildlife. And when I say the wildlife, not the wild kife, when I say the wildlife, I'm talking about 2 feral cats and a family of raccoons. Sometimes once I saw 5 raccoons on the porch and I said, Karen, this is getting out of hand. It's not usually that many. You had 2 left out of 6, and now 1, right? Yeah, we had some great cats. Kaz Reed, as I called him, was my favorite. That cat knew how to live. He hung out next door a lot at the beautiful gardens, and so we wouldn't see much of him. He had a summer home, Kaz did. Kaz, Kaz, and they just loved him. The couple over there, gay couple, just loved him very much, and they have cats over there. Their numbers have diminished, and they have like a graveyard of their pets, because they've been over there for, I don't know, 45, 50 years. They're older than me. One is like 78. And yeah, they become very dear to you, right? I'm not a hardcore cat person like uh, Karen is, but certainly, I developed a real bond with a number of the cats. The oldest cat was named Gypsy, but he looked like an old man, so I renamed him Herb. And then sometimes I would say Herb Gypsy. And Herb didn't have much of a voice left, but when he did try to meow, it would sound like he was saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. So one time he was looking for a can of food, but I was pretty sure that Karen had just given him one. But now he was seeing me, a new face, and he thought, well, he doesn't know that I've had a can of food. So I said, Herb, you've already had a can of food, haven't you? And he looked at me and said, yeah. So I said, well, you told the truth. I'll give you another one. Herb was really great. He lived quite old, but not as old as his wife, Hazel, our cat Hazel, who lived to about 26 years old. Herb might have been about 1920. Kaz was only like 12 or 13, but he got the cancer, as our a cat Cougar did, a long-haired cat Cougar, got the cancer and died at age 13. His mother, who hated him, by the way. No, he didn't hate Cougar. No, that's not true. That Cougar was the son. And Scully, named after Scully from the X-Men, um, uh, liked Cougar, the son, beautiful cat. She looked like him, but a small version. But she had a daughter that was also here, Bella, and they hated each other's guts. It was funny. They would sometimes go to sparring. We'd have like a fight to break up. But at my parents' house, we have over 20 ferals, and some of them come inside and out in the winter. Yeah, it's always tough to see wildlife out there. We have an igloo because there used to be a dog too who died a few years back. Geisha. She was a what do you call that? Asian dog. Yeah, it's a short-term memory again. Semi big dog. Oh, jeez. Can't remember right now. Memory's not what it used to be. Um, but we hate to see an animal starve. Even when I worked like security post, I worked a hotel in North Carolina when I was basically driving a van. the airport van, or if it wasn't the airport, it was the strip club. I would be taking guys to the strip club, and they would give me a tip usually. Though they were, especially if they came out and they were in a good mood, they would give me a tip as I brought them back to the hotel. It's an actual story. I didn't even know the strip club was involved. I thought I was just going to be a security guard at the hotel. I even helped out the morning worker put the continental breakfast together. I helped her with that, as many of the security I was told did that, so I did it too. Um, yeah, all brothers, the cats I had, all related. I thought it was from him biting because of fleas. I found the vet today. Boy, those vet bills can get expensive. Get expensive. It's just you and me, Hearts Wild. We had one other person, but they never identified themselves. So I'm sorry for your loss, because that's a real loss, a real companion. Although sometimes they can hold you down a little bit, and I always said, gee, if it came down to the cats leaving or me, Karen would probably choose me to leave, even though I, you know, obviously pay into the keeping of this house tremendously. And But yeah, if there's an adult son who's never going to leave, or if there's a bunch of animals, it's not unusual for the new relationship man to quickly find that he's lower on the totem pole, and some will leave at that point and some will stay, because it gets to the point where you don't want to destroy someone's life by walking out the door, and you love that person, and you know so I think sometimes we find out relationships are not as what we were hoping for, don't meet all our needs, um, but we still are aware of the blessings, and we are aware of our behavior that may have made the intimacy in our relationship not what it could have been. So you try to become a better person and try to work on it. So you're like my therapist, Hearts Wild. It's always been my cats and me. Um, does that mean you've never had a serious relationship? Is that what that means? With another person? I don't know. You don't have to answer that. I'm just saying that's what that sounds like. I have gone from one marriage to another marriage quickly, to another relationship quickly. That would be with the current Karen. I began with a Karen and I end with a Karen. So, well, coming up on 17 minutes, I'm probably not going to go past 20, as it's 2:22 in the morning. But maybe you'll be able to join us probably in the later part of Worldwide Ramblings. I'm starting to feel that I should do I shouldn't promise to do a broadcast, because I don't know how I'm going to feel when we get to it. I need to, I don't want to continuously speak about Pastor Bob Joyce, if that's all there is at some point. I don't know that if I did Zoom interviews with someone that's very interesting, if that would get an audience. See, it all comes down to the subscribers that you have. And if they all came from one subject, you can find yourself in a conundrum. At the same time, very appreciative of the success, because there are some people that would just love to get to 1,000 views, so subscribers, so they could be monetized and maybe make a little money, because that's all it's going to be unless you get a big amount of views. I'm not married now. I got you. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad. Used to be married in 2000. What was I doing in the year 2000? I was in my first marriage still, but it was definitely on the way down, 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 down. And I was very concerned about that, because I had two children, that I was now going to become a guest in their lives. I always had my kids over every other weekend or what have you. But there was another man living in my house after a while, and that wouldn't have happened if I had been a better custodian of the home and a better husband in general. No children. Well, some people make that decision. Some women can have children, but some make the decision that they don't want that. We love Dark Shadows and Catherine Lee Scott, who's now 81 years old. I think she just turned 81. Um, she she knew she wanted to have a career, travel the world, write books, and she made that decision. And I don't judge her for that. Not everybody should have children. It's not for everybody. Um, it's a big responsibility. It can cause endless heartbreak. It can cause um, divorce, and then you're a single parent, and you're trying to make it work when you got daddy's living one place and mommy's living the other, and then you're kind of stuck. You can't move away because your kids live close, and oh, you know, I love both my children, though. I love my daughter and I love my son very much, and I'm very glad that we had them, and that it was basically a somewhat of a friendly divorce. But there was a lot of negativity, that would follow, and that's something I have to live with. Hearts Wild. Well, we've gone past 20 minutes, and my ex and me got along. Better not under the same roof. Yeah. Yeah, I know what that's all about. I know what that's all about. My parents are in their 80s. Uh-huh. My dad, as I said earlier, has been dead since 1967. I was 11. And my mom died in 2002. In 2002, she was in her 70s when she passed away. So, well, I hope you get some rest, Hearts Wild. You became the only reason that I went past even 10 minutes, because I wanted to talk to you. And um, I appreciate the channel. I'm looking into other projects too, because this one won't give me that extra boost. I mean, you gotta have the editing skills of someone much younger than me, or you gotta have a tech guy. Yeah, I got a tickle towards the end. Must be time to rest the voice. I've been talking a lot today. Hearts Wild, it's 2:22 in the morning. You're not going to find the people you would find at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. You just won't. I'm sorry. You and I are night people. I don't know what time you go to bed, but I usually go to bed around 3 o'clock in the morning and get up somewhere around 10 o'clock, something like that. And, you know, that's just how I do it. That's just how I do it. You the same, right? So I was never wanting a morning job. I either worked evenings or I worked overnights most of the time of my life. Um, because I found, certainly when I did security jobs and what have you, it was much quieter when everybody went home for the day. I never liked having a boss hanging over me. Now, the years that I did radio full time, but more part time than full time, really, they could always hear me, the boss. They could always hear me and say, that was not good, or don't say that, or something like that. You never know when the boss is listening, even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So God bless your hearts wild. Get some rest, and hopefully you'll join us for worldwide ramblings. Oh, we have somebody brand new that comes in at the last minute. Where's the new news on EP? See, that's all you want from me, Sherry. I don't know you though. That's all you want, right? That's the only reason you would tune into this channel is for news on EP. I am I am a one-trick pony to you, Sherry. That's all you care about. And it's getting old. Because he's an individual. That's why I said when I began talking about him in 2018, I said I said, since I am speaking about an individual, if the pastor should be offended with what I'm doing, all he would need to do is give me a video message. This is back in 2018. The whole thing would have never happened if Pastor Bob Joyce would have done that and said, I don't like what you're doing. Please stop. I would have. But I never got that. I've talked to people in the inner circle, but I've never heard from the pastor directly. And um, I've heard from, others. But yes, you use that word listening, which I say sometimes because of all the years I was on radio. But let's be honest, Sherry, baby, Sherry. Hearts Wild saying, what am I now, chopped liver? If I don't talk about Bob Joyce in a pre-recorded video, I'm going to get a lot less hits. I just did a video on a crisis in the Catholic Church. Let's see how that makes. I did a video on the possible end of the world a week or two ago. Um, uh, is a third world war looming? And I talked about a great general or colonel that Tucker Carlson had on, and there's some good information in that video. I think it's got about 175 hits. Bob Joyce slash Elvis, The Verdict One, has almost 83,000 hits. Who Preached Lisa Marie's um, private funeral? The Verdict 2 is going to 34,000 hits. So I know where my bread is buttered, and after a while it becomes you're working too. You're working. You're not working now. Did you work the 4 to 12 or something like that? Where you're watching us from? Hearts Wild is saying hello, Sherry. Hearts Wild says, I never knew about Bob Joyce till your channel. I have watched videos on him. I began to go to Graceland in '88. Well, that makes you hardcore. And see, people confuse me with a hardcore Elvis fan. I've never been to Graceland. I don't have. I never saw him in concert. I wanted to, but I was kind of young then, and I was a busy lad going to broadcasting school, and then I arrived to start my radio career in Fredonia, New York on the day Elvis was supposed to have died. In August 16th, that was the day I arrived in Dunkirk, New York, to begin working for WBUZ on a country station when I knew virtually nothing about country music. I had to learn fast. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Well, you're a nurse. Cool. You're working right now, and things have quieted down. You're on your break. Yeah. And you don't really get out at 7 because you got to give reports, right? You kind of walk out around 7:30. No, that's what I know the nurses here at Garnet Health do. Used to be ORMC, Orange Regional Medical Center. But before that, it was on the other end of town, and it was Horton Memorial Hospital. That's where I worked. I worked at Horton Memorial Hospital for a year as security, and it was not easy. Oh, it was real easy sometimes, but then I would find myself wrestling somebody in the ER that was on angel dust, and there was another guard or two, but it wasn't easy. And I said, no, this is not for me. I only stayed a year, and then I've only done this a few times in my life. I literally walked out one day, and my second wife said to me, so there goes our health insurance. Thanks a lot. I understood. Yeah, you're a hard worker. God bless you. That is no easy job. No easy job dealing with the doctors, dealing with the patients, always understaffed. They can't understand why you're not answering the buzzer. Oh, I understand that it's a hard job. I've watched it in action. The patient doesn't want to be there. You see things that you never forget. You bring them home with you, right? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a thankless job. The nursing assistants are calling out sick, and 32 patients. Yeah, see, this is what I hear. That's too much. It's too much. I see your little picture there. Hearts Wild doesn't have a picture. I don't know what Hearts Wild looks like. Um, but yeah, you like Bob Joyce. Well, we'll talk a little bit about some Elvis potential love childs. I do have another idea in mind, which would require me bringing in my tech guy, Dandy Andy, who is Karen's son on the other side of this house, because it would require some roll in video. But boy, it's not something. There's just so much going on in this world. So I do love it when people talk about something else. And you talked about nursing. So thank you. And I talked about cats with Hearts Wild. So we did cover a number of bases. Well, we're at 30 minutes, half an hour here in the middle of the night in the Hudson Valley of New York. I hope you have a good rest of the night, Sherry, and you too, Hearts Wild. Hearts Wild, get some sleep. And I'll be back for Worldwide Ramblings tonight at 11 o'clock East Coast time. We usually go 2 hours, sometimes an hour and a half. We'll see how it goes. And we'll have a bigger response, but I'm very thankful. Now we have 5. Oh, it's so wild. And I am curious about who the others are and where they're watching from, because I think we're going to likely get somebody new. And I'd like to welcome you to Worldwide Ramblings tonight and to watch all the videos here at the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned. My claim to fame is talking about the pastor from Benton, Arkansas, Bob Joyce, who looks and sounds like Elvis, but he doesn't look 88, they say. So, we have a lot of videos on that. Some of them have a lot of hits. And then when I talk about other important things, not as many. Not as many. Bob's got to be in the title. It's the magic words, or at least Elvis has to be in the title. So check out our videos here. You new people, you're probably new. Anybody else want to pop on and say who you are? People do call you the cat lady, huh? Hearts Wild, and now you only have one cat. I would not be quick to go out and get another one or two. I would just take it easy and enjoy your life. And Karen is talking about getting another cat, and I don't know. I don't know. So I guess these other 3 people are going to remain anonymous. I'd love to know where you are, especially if you're from another country. But if you're in Kentucky or if you're in the state of Maine, my favorite state, we go on vacation almost every year, but we went to Rhode Island this year. I'd love to hear what's important to you. If you can't do it live, do it in the comment section here. Hello, replay crowd. I don't know how much of a replay crowd I'm going to have for this, because I didn't put Bob Joyce in the title, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to. If he wasn't Elvis, he wouldn't mention him and his services. Well, you're talking about the time where he mentioned. I know what sermon you're talking about. There's so many things. I mean, I did the 21 coincidences. Obviously, we talk about the whole story in The Verdict 1 and 2, who preached Lisa Marie's private funeral. That's our fastest growing video. So we go through all that. How many coincidences I use the word coincidences, realizing that at some point they're no longer coincidences. When you get to over 50, I mean, there's more smoke in this fire than you can live through. Yeah, he does. He does. He can't seem to help himself. He likes the attention, I believe. But he's also preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that's a great thing too. Anybody else want to say hello before I check out for the night here? We're going to come up to 35 minutes, and looks like it's time for me to think about going to sleep. I take my little Xanax pill, only half a gram, and chill out, chill out. All right. Well, thank you. And feel free to comment, because now it will immediately repeat, as all my live shows do, in the live section of this channel, the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned, and you can comment there. All right. So good night, everybody. We had sparse attendance, but quality, a great nurse. and a great cat lady as well. And you anonymous people, Annie Muss, take care.